Hello, boys and girls. We are now on basic parts of a computer. Part 2, we will discuss output devices. An output device takes data stored on a computer and makes it available to the user in an easy to understand way. So basically we can observe the data, we can view the data that is found on the computer using an output device. This data may be made available using pictures, such as on a monitor or printed to a page. So data can be visible on a monitor, it can be printed on one of different printers. Now, if you look at the examples of output devices, the monitor is your display device. You've got different types of monitors, like LCD, liquid crystal display, and LED, light emitting diode. LED technology is better than LCD technology in terms of being less harmful to the environment and the quality of the display. Your printers, you get your inkjet, ink tank, laser, 3D printers. Now these are two types or two printers that we have on the market. They have many different sizes of printers and shapes of printers. There's a variety. We will discuss each of these printers. Your data projector, they come in different sizes and shapes as well. We have the HDMI and VGA connection. So HDMI is better clarity, as more clear than your VGA. VGA cable is a blue cable that you will see that has pins. So your monitors have generally a VGA cable, and with your HDMI, your newer monitors have an HDMI connection. So projectors may be an HDMI or VGA connection. We'll discuss this further. Your speakers have many. Your speaker is an output device. There's an example of speakers, and they're towards speakers. They have many different types of speakers in the market. Now, in terms of your monitors, to determine the quality of a monitor, we look at some important characteristics. Now, how do we know which is a good monitor? Okay, first, we talk about number of pixels. A pixel is a tiny dot of color on your monitor. So pixels put together creates a picture on your monitor. A good monitor is a full HD high density monitor with 1920 pixels across the width and 1080 pixels on the height. Some modern monitors can have up to 3840 by 2160 pixels. High resolution, when we talk about high resolution in terms of monitor, it means more pixels and a clearer detailed image. So high resolution means there are more pixels and you get a clearer detailed image. That means there are many pixels put together that will give you the image. Low resolution means fewer pixels, so your picture is not as clear as that with high resolution. So the more pixels you have closely placed together, the clearer the image you will get. Right, in terms of screen size, the size of the monitor is measured diagonally from the top left hand to the bottom right hand. So measuring diagonally across your screen, that will give you the number of inches your screen is. Your screen is measured in inches. So you measure from the top left-hand corner to the bottom right hand. That's the size of your screen. Your refresh rate, the refresh rate of a monitor determines how quickly the image on the monitor can be updated with the newest information. So most monitors have a refresh rate of 60 Hertz. So if the refresh rate is faster, it means you'll have a better image. The images comes up quickly. Your contrast ratio is a measure of the number of shades a monitor can show between its blackest black and brightest white. Or we can say darkest black and your brightest white. That's the contrast ratio. So the higher the number of shades, the clearer and sharper the images will be, and the brighter and truer to life the colors will be. So contrast ratio is important in getting a sharper, clearer image. The aspect ratio, this is the basic shape of the screen based on the ratio of the width, and the ratio of the height. For example, if the screen is 16 inches, which is 40.6 centimeters wide and 10 inches tall, the aspect ratio is 16:10. So it's 16 wide, 10 tall. So your ratio is 16:10. That's how you measure your aspect ratio. Your brightness is the perception of how intense or bright the light coming from a screen is. The brighter the light, the more power will be drawn from your computer. So remember, if your screen is always set on bright, being bright, it will be using more power. So one of the ways to reduce power consumption is to reduce the brightness of your screen, even your smart screen. So reduce the brightness of the screen means using less power. In terms of printers, a printer allows a computer to use data and output it to a paper. We call this hard copy. The copy that you see, the paper that you get, that is the hard copy. The data that's in your computer, that is your soft copy. So your printouts are your hard copy. The four main types of printers we're going to look at. One is your dot matrix printer. It uses a series of small pins to strike a ribbon coated with ink. So it uses a ribbon and it causes the ink to be transferred to the paper at the point of impact. So this is an impact printer, as in the pins have to strike the ribbon to write onto a page. Dot matrix printers are mostly outdated as a personal printer, but they're used in banks and manufacturing businesses where we need a carbon copy. So where carbon copy is required, then we can use the printer, because by using the impact of the printer, using the pins, we are able to make a carbon copy if you're using a carbon paper. So carbon copy means a duplicate of the document. So the pins will write on one page, and using a carbon page, you'll have the information on a duplicate. Inkjet printer, it operates by painting an image using a spray of ink. This is done by hundreds of tiny nozzles that spray drops of ink directly onto the paper while moving across it. So inkjet printer works with spraying ink to create the image. So dot matrix printer uses small pins on a ribbon. The inkjet printer obtains the image by painting the image using ink. Now if you look at the difference between these two, this is the impact printer. Dot matrix is an impact printer, which means it is going to be noisy compared to the inkjet printer. There are two types of inkjet printers. You have your continuous printers that are used for commercial purposes and on-demand printers. It is a good all-round printer that is most commonly used for smaller jobs. They are less reliable, your inkjet printer. Now the one that's in demand is generally your laser printer. It is a popular printer for personal use. Now your laser printer is expensive to purchase, but it's cheaper to run. Your inkjet printer may be cheaper to purchase, but is expensive to run because of the cost of the ink makes it expensive to run. You have to replace your ink often. So your inkjet printer is expensive to run because of the need to replace the ink. The laser printer uses a toner, which is powder, and less powder is used. So although the printer may be expensive to purchase as an initial cost, but it is cheaper to run. It lasts a longer time because the toner lasts a longer time than the ink. Now, how do laser printers work? These printers use electrostatic technology. To start the process, the drum is given a positive electrical charge while it rotates. The printer shines a narrow laser beam onto its surface, drawing or projecting the letters and images to be printed as a pattern of electrical charges onto the surface of the drum. When the pattern is set, the drum is rolled in a toner which sticks to certain parts of the drum. That is the image. Sticks to the image, And when rolled over a piece of paper, this image is burned onto the paper with heat and pressure. When the printing is done, the electrical charge is removed from the drum and the excess toner is collected. Laser printers are used for mass production printing because they are generally faster and more reliable, but with worse quality prints. Now, comparing the prints on a laser print and inkjet, generally your laser printer is, the quality of print may not be good, but it's long lasting. It's a long lasting, effective printer. Your ink tank printer has print heads built into the printer and use an integrated bulk ink system. This means that the ink is supplied continuously to a print head with an ink tank within the printer itself, so no expensive cartridges are needed. Now, this is the new printer that's in the market that's being used often, and it has a built-in tank and you only refill with ink, so it makes it less expensive to replace the ink than your inkjet printer. When the ink is finished, it can be refilled from an ink bottle, so printing costs are lower. They produce low-cost, high-volume printing. So it's cheaper to use an inkjet, ink tank printer than your inkjet printer, and you will still get good quality printing. Now, your 3D printer is a very expensive printer. It is used to make three-dimensional objects. So 3D printing is a process of making three-dimensional objects from a digital file. The creation of a 3D printed object is achieved by laying down successive layers of material until the object is created. Each of these layers can be seen as thinly sliced horizontal cross-section of the eventual object. Example of them is prosthetics and movie props. Now we look at the example of a 3D printer here. This robot has been designed from the base up. Once the 3D object is created, then it can be painted and used for whatever the need is required. So your 3D printer will print from a digital information. From digital information is used to print the object that is required. When evaluating printers, it is important to know what the printer will be used for because different printers are good at different things. Now, factors to consider when looking for a printer is whether it is black, white, or you need a color printer. How quickly it can print, like your pages per minute. Pages, ppm, pages per minute measures how many pages of black text a printer can print in a minute. So if you have high volume printing, you will look at the pages per minute. It means it can print faster if it has a higher ppm. You need to look at how much it costs to print a page. Your dots per inch. This is similar to pixels, but this is dots per inch when you're printing. It measures how many dots a printer can print in 1 inch. The higher the DPI, the more detailed the prints. So if you're looking at more dots being placed together, that you will get a better image than having dots placed further apart. So the more dots placed together gets a better picture. So dots, the higher the DPI, the more detailed the print. Your next is your data projector. Projectors use a bright light to project the content displayed on a computer monitor. The projectors use a bright light to project the content displayed on a computer monitor onto a flat surface. So what happens is you connect your projector to a computer, and whatever image you have on your computer, whether it's a desktop or a laptop, you can now project that image onto a larger surface, which could be a white wall, a whiteboard, or a screen, a projector screen. Now, projectors are also used at cinema. They use large, high-quality projectors to display the movie on a screen. So your large screens that you see at the movies, your movies are projected using a projector. Projectors can also be connected to computers at home or in offices to display the computer screen on a wall. So we can use them. We use them at school. We can use them at offices to project the image. The two types of cables connecting video output devices. Now to connect to a projector, you can have a VGA, which is an analog video only connection, and you can have a digital video audio connection, your HDMI. HDMI sends digital video and audio with an HDMI cable. VGA only sends the video. So your HDMI is better quality, or it's faster than your VGA, and it has video and audio connection. The advantages of projectors are easy to carry around, and they display the content from your computer at a large size. So if you're addressing a larger audience, then you use your projector. Disadvantage, replacing the lamp in a projector is very expensive. Low quality projectors can show washed out or faded images. Low brightness projectors need to be placed close to the screen, decreasing the size of the image. So low brightness projectors may also require a dark room. So it all depends on the quality of your projector. So the one disadvantage is the expense. It is expensive itself, and the lamp is expensive, is the next disadvantage. And depending on the quality of the projector, the quality of the projector will determine how clear your image is and how large the image is. Outputs, we're looking at, in your projector, we're looking at the lumens, which measures the brightness of the projector. So when we talk about lumens, that's the brightness of the projector. Resolution, again, how many pixels can be displayed. Similar idea of contrast ratio, the darkest and lightest part of an image, we're looking at the difference. Your speakers and headphones. Now, these are examples of speakers. There are many different types of speakers. And again, we've got different kinds of speakers that you may see, and shapes and sizes and quality. Advantages, they can be useful for alerting computer users of events using audio notifications, even when they are busy. So if your computer is set to give you audio notifications, then your speaker will keep you informed. Text can be converted to sound. These are all advantages of speakers. The disadvantage of computer speakers is that they can take up a fair amount of desk space compared to headphones. Right? So you can use headphones to listen because your speakers use up more space. Now, in terms of your headphones, we have closed back headphones. It creates an isolated audio experience so that only you can hear the sounds that you want to hear. It's closed back. In-ear headphones is known for portability, versatility, and convenience. They go a little more deeper into the ear, okay? So it provides sound isolation and sound accuracy. We have Bluetooth headphones, which offers wireless connectivity to various devices using radio transmitter technology. They have a small computer chip inside of them that allow you to pair with the device you are playing music from. So most of you would have access to at least one of these. Your in-ear headphones can also be wireless. And this is an interactive screen or a projector screen. An interactive whiteboard, if that's an interactive whiteboard, it combines the technology of a computer, touchscreen, projector, and whiteboard. So your information can be projected on an interactive whiteboard, projects what's on the computer screen, and it's a touch screen. You can connect an interactive whiteboard to one or more laptops, a PC, a tablet, or other electronic devices. This is an ideal device for teaching, an interactive whiteboard. So in a classroom environment, the advantage is they give learners and teachers an opportunity to interact more than on the traditional blackboard. And that is your output devices and your activities on page 74 of your DBE textbook, activity 3.2.